Mayfield's been surrounded by all these weapons from Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, and the list goes on and on. If Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns fall to 0-2, especially in the division 0-2, boy, the season could be derailed before it even starts, really.
That game is tonight. Meanwhile, Dominique, who's a team you got your eye on that doesn't need to start 0-2?
Oh, yeah, I got two teams, actually. The Colts versus the Vikings. They're playing each other. They both lost in week one. Rivers wasn't good against a team that we thought in the Jaguars weren't going to win any games. Then the Vikings secondary has had a lot of turnover at corner, and Aaron Rodgers made them pay. So these two teams are going to be playing this week, and whoever loses this team is going to be in real bad shape starting out the year 0-2. And you can't lose games like that game the Colts lost to the Jaguars, because most times you're going to be outmatched. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win, because you're going to lose a lot of those those close matchups going on.
And those are teams that are both thinking Super Bowl thoughts. Lewis, who do you have your eye on?
Well, Damien, Woody, I have my eye on your Cowboys. Yeah, I said your Cowboys. Because I'll tell you what, this week against Atlanta, they better go ahead and put up a win, because next week they're going to Seattle. I mean, in 2 weeks they're going to Seattle then. And then things could get real dicey for this football team. I think we all know, look, Dallas is kind of in the same situation as Tampa Bay. It's about expectations. It's about what people were saying about them in the offseason. Remember, this offense is unstoppable. They have the best wide receiver core in the league. They have the best skill position set in the league. Well, we need to see this pretty quickly. We need to see this against the Atlanta Falcons this week. Because if not, I think conversation is going to get ramped up around this football team very quickly. Then you have the pending contract negotiation at the end of this year with Dak Prescott. You have the conversation right now about whether or not Mike McCarthy has actually put his stamp on this offense, or is this just Kellen Moore's offense? There's a lot going on here, too. And you want to talk about heat getting turned up on a football team if they go 0-2. This is the one. This is the team to watch.
I agree completely. And let's make sure everyone understands why he's referencing D. Wood in that circumstance. Lewis, you made a bold prediction last week that the Cowboys would miss the playoffs. and my big fella over here pretty much lost his mind. D. Wood, what do you have to say after week one?
Well, first of all, good morning, Lewis. You're not going to listen. It's too early in the morning for you to be trying to come up at me and everything. I know you did Monday Night Football and all that, so you're feeling kind of swollen in the chest and everything. But let's calm down on the Cowboys. The Cowboys will be all right. I'm not picking them to go to the Super Bowl this year. I did that last year. They let me down. But to think the Cowboys not going to make the playoffs, I might need you in studio so we can have a face-to-face conversation.
Ooh.
Hey, man. Hey.
Escalated.
No, wait a minute. Just a couple segments ago, you went all in on your former team, the Jets. You went all in on them. You wanted to basically just go in there and just nuke the whole play and just kind of burn it all down, start over again. And now, I just don't understand what all this defense is of the Cowboys. I mean, look, I like them. I like the Cowboys. When I was a kid, look, that was my team. Tony Dorsett, the whole thing, that was my team. But, I mean, the expectations always seem to be get out of control with this football team. They just do. And there's just something about the makeup of the team that doesn't seem to consistently jive with what you see on paper. Because you're right. What you see on paper is a team that should be putting up easy. It should easily be a 4-touchdown team every week. Every week, 28 should be the minimum that this team is scoring. But then you have highlights like this, where Aaron is just like bowling pinning people and throwing them around. I mean, it's like come on now. We can't always have this same conversation every offseason about this football team, and then they come out and lay an egg like they did against the Rams. I mean, it has to get better, and they need to stop Atlanta this week. That's what they need to do. Because the next week up in Seattle, I may have gotten one wrong on that prediction as far as Seattle missing the playoffs, because Russell Wilson is not having it. He's not having any slander from anybody.
So it's just too much to ask for the Cowboys to go to make the playoffs. If you're talking about, these expectation of the Cowboys, you telling me right now it's too much to ask of the Dallas Cowboys just to make the playoffs? Come on, Lou. Come on, man. Talk to me.
I didn't say it's too much to ask. I'm just saying I believe this is one of these teams where expectations far exceed what they have put on the football field time and time again in terms of results. That's what it is. And expectations gets ratcheted up with this football team like in a hurry. As soon as they drafted CeeDee Lamb, as soon as CeeDee Lamb's name was called in the draft, what started to happen? It was like this
you didn't
offense
hear
all of
that
a
from
sudden
me.
now. This is like Kansas City of the NFC. No, I'm not saying.
Did you hear that from me, Lewis? You didn't hear that from me.
And I just like to bring this up with you because you're my guy, though. That's why.
I know why you bring it up with me because of New England. You know how that whole culture is New England, so you trying to get that dig.
Yeah.
Let me get Shefty and Nick in on this conversation as well. And Nick, and the producer, I'm keeping it here because this is good stuff here. Shefty, the last time we all got yelling at each other, you jumped in and you provided a voice of sanity and calm. What is your perspective on the Cowboys, their expectations, and their Week 1 performance?
The same thing. Again, if the offensive pass interference isn't cold, they win the game. We're talking about whether the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. It's 1 week. Again, I know that we like to get carried away with these things, but this Dallas Cowboy football team is still a good football team. It's still going to be in the thick of it. By the way, the Eagles lost in Week 1. The Giants lost in Week 1. The Cowboys lost. The only team in that division that won a game was the Washington football team. So should we now anoint the Washington football team as Super Bowl contenders while we bury the Cowboys and Eagles?
Yes.
No, it's 1 week. It's going to calm down. It'll settle back in. Eagles were without their offensive lineman. The Cowboys had some injuries. Let's see how it fares after this. See, once Dallas plays the way it should against Atlanta, are we then going to be talking about how, now they're headed to the Super Bowl at this time next week? Maybe.
Well, let's talk about how they should. Dominique, that I think is an important point here because we were talking, you and I, Nick, we're talking this morning before the show about what they should do, why that offense doesn't look the way we all think it should. What is your perspective?
Yeah, I think Lou touched on it a little bit about people getting carried away, saying that they could be the Kansas City of the NFC. I think they actually could. The difference is Kansas City plays aggressively. They play like they have an all-star or Pro Bowl level quarterback. They play like they have Pro Bowl level tight ends, receivers, running backs. They play aggressively. They want to score a ton of points, and they are not playing or calling plays based on what they're seeing on the other side or necessarily based on what's on the scoreboard. They set a goal to score a ton of points, and they go out and do it. And I feel like the play calling and the play design in Dallas it treats Dak Prescott as if he's not a Pro Bowl level quarterback, as if he's some sort of game manager. They treat that offense as if those players are not as good as they are. I think they should put more complicated schemes in and take more shots and let Dak Prescott win or lose them the game. Don't try to stick around. You don't want to hang around when your offense is your best asset. You want to score. So I hope that they go out and get aggressive, take shots, and go the opposite way of what I think a lot of people suggest that they do, is just hand the ball to Zeke and back off and hope that Dak doesn't blow it. No, let Dak be Dak and let Dak blow up into the quarterback that we all see that he can be in certain moments.
I like that perspective a lot, and that's what I meant when I said the new-look Cowboys look a lot like the old-look Cowboys. And I would add, they've spent all their money on the offensive side of the ball as well. So, exactly. Lewis, is that a reasonable perspective in your mind, that offense is still not playing to the strength that it seems to have, and that because they never seem to score as many points as you think they should in big games? Do you think that there is something in the offensive philosophy that's causing that? Louis Riddick.
Yeah, I think Dominic has a great point here. And I think, especially when you look at how offensive play is trending, being aggressive early in football games and throwing the football early in football games and using the threat of your running game, just the threat of your running game, even if you haven't even established the run yet, is something that yields positive, explosive results early in football games. Just saw it last week. Just saw it last week in Denver with the Tennessee Titans. They have Derrick Henry. What do? They come out in the first play of the game, play action pass, and they put Ryan Tannehill out on the perimeter, and they wind up throwing the football. And we're having success moving it. Dallas could do the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. If they have 3 wide receivers that are capable of winning their one-on-one matchups at any given moment, and they do, then go ahead and let Dak throw the football early. Let him take the defense and back it off early on and make them understand that they have to defend the entire length and width of the football field. You'll naturally create more room for Ezekiel Elliott. You'll